Today is Wednesday, September 29th, 2021. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Season 41 of Survivor Week 2.
This episode's titled Juggling Chainsaws, and that was spoken by Xander at Tribal Council. Okay, when we come back in this week, we're at UA. It's day 4. It's going to be a 2-day cycle. Day 4, day 5.
Okay.
And Brad is nervous about JD. JD's asking if he's going to take a nap. He's awfully interested in whether or not Brad will be napping.
Yeah. What you doing, Brad?
And that catches Brad's attention.
No, as he talked about JD last week, it set off his paranoia.
JD and Ricard set off together to go get water. This further invigorates Brad's interest in what's going on. And so he tells us he knows that he can dash along the beach and get to the well before they do. So he's going to do his version of a spy shack and eavesdrop on them.
Though obviously was not subtle about it at all.
When you're 6'5", it's hard to be subtle about anything.
That he was rushing off to check them out.
What I liked the most was, and it could just be because of the editing, but he was trying to be stealthy, and he appeared to just hand signal to Genie, because Genie and Shan are there in camp too when JD and Ricard set off, and then Brad gets excited, and he's like, I got eyes on them. He signals that, doesn't say anything, and tears off down the beach, and then you hear Genie explain to Shan what was going on. I thought, oh wow, Genie is dialed in. Mm-hmm. She is in sync with what Brad's doing there, even though she was, for the most part, invisible in the episode. Well, I did appreciate her awareness, her situational awareness, and ability to read the action.
At least Brad's feelings about it were accurate. They were talking about
They were certainly validated. When they get to the well, he hears JD say, "You can't trust Brad." And then Ricard chimes in to further twist it on JD there and say, he thinks you have the idol.
Well, the thing is that Brad can't hear that much detail, so obviously he's not that close. But he hears them saying him. Well, he's whatever. He's the only other he out there. So he knows without hearing his name.
And we hear JD say that he feels much better this morning. He's much more assured about his position in the tribe after that tribal council where Sarah was voted out.
Well, but Brad thinks JD's calm today because he must have the idol.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's calm.
Interesting to see the different sides of it. And we did all this without having Probst explain it to us. Good job, editors.
And if Brad rushes back to camp and gets there ahead of them, nobody will ever know the difference.
They won't notice him sweating or huffing and puffing or anything.
It's like he's the girls aren't going to tell.
In really good shape. Yeah, he does indeed get back before JD and Ricard. And Shan's anxious to know what he found out, but he says, "Oh, they're coming. I'll tell you later."
Well, and then that just makes her not trust him. Well, if he does it to them, does he do that to me too?
He could spy on me too. He is unpredictable. He must go.
So she goes and tells Ricard.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily see that coming, but yep.
No, I kind of thought she was off him and using JD. That's why you and I both chose Ricard to go this week.
Mm-hmm.
And next time, if I ask you what picks you're making, don't tell me. Because we don't talk about it.
It's my fault.
No, it's not your fault.
That you asked and I told you.
But I said, I think I was influenced by what you said. And I'm trying not to be, but I do feel that way. But I think I was influenced, so don't tell me anymore.
Mm-hmm. All right. I will withhold information.
Yep, you do that, because even if I say, "Oh, who'd you vote?" 'Cause
Okay,
usually
back to Survivor.
All right,
Shan
back to
tells
Survivor.
Ricard, like you said, Brad spied on you. And then Ricard decides Brad needs to go, which I took as a good sign. That meant there's a definite chance that could bounce back and hit Ricard.
Oh well, I was thinking, oh, I'm glad I don't have Brad safe.
Over at Luvu there on day 4, Luvu.
Lavu is how they.
Anyway,
Though Jeff's not pronouncing
he's
things
not
the
consistent,
way
is he?
we saw it written
Yeah.
phonetically to be pronounced. He's not, but more Yase.
In any case, over at the Blue Tribe, Deshawn is busy destroying their flint. He said he and his brother and his father spent 13 hours learning
13 hours.
how to do it. I'm glad they practice. And it does bring up a good point, because he was saying the problem is having to use the machete. That's the problem. And that's a solid point. You should practice with something bigger after you get the technique down.
Not too
when they're
many people
chopping
have a
away,
machete.
well, you get one. Just like you don't, a lot of people don't have flint and magnesium, but if you want to be on Survivor and you want that skill,
I had one growing up. Well, my brother did.
Make the smallest amount of effort, and you do that before you go out there. Well, at least he had tried, but
Yes.
you could tell he was rapidly headed towards destroying it the way he was chopping with the
This
machete.
has really got to be pumping up Naseer's ego. You know, he
Yeah, you
waits
could see
around.
it.
May I try?
Yeah.
He knows he can do it.
And really what he did, I think, was he used a coal from where it was burning before. I mean, they didn't show him using the flint. It looked like he grabbed something that was smoldering and basically relit it, which is a smart thing to do. That's, it's a good way to bank a
he's
coal.
like, yeah, I don't have to do that. And once that.
He was a little snotty about it, snarky afterwards, right? When he got it going, he said, "I'm hungry. Let me try, and then quick, cook something." And
before it goes out.
yeah. Well, he's hungry. He said, "Some food, please. Less than a minute." He was telling him how long it should take to provide him food.
Well, and then we hear from Sydney. That's what I thought was funny. She said flat out, "He's essential to our tribe." We tried. We thought, yeah, we'll learn from him, and then we'll vote him out. Because she's like, we need him. We can't do it.
Naseer does not need a ladder like Tony or a gizmo like Yule to retrieve the breadfruit. He just throws something up there and knocks it out of the tree. He's good to go. So definitely he's got skills, but you could see how some of that could become unbearable.
Well, you know that they've tried. So if they're thinking he's essential, they've tried to do it and failed.
Well, at least Sydney has decided that, yeah. Her idea of what might not be essential might be a low bar.
Okay, on to Yase, day 4. Tiffany is exhausted. They have no food, nothing, even something from the ocean or the crabs.
Well, it's up to them to gather, yeah. And that's where we see Tiffany and Voce and Evvie. They're all out hunting in the rocks there, trying to find something. Crabbing, I guess.
Well, an ex tells Liana he's worried because Voce had been gone a long time. So is
You're just
he
shortening to X? Is that it?
Yeah,
Okay.
instead of
I was like, what?
Xander. Oh, well, that was for my notes, and
I think
so
it's
I got
Xander.
used to calling him X.
I don't think it's X.
I know, but the guy on Big Brother's X, and so he, and
Okay.
so it's just easier to say X than Xander.
Gotcha.
But okay, I
Certainly.
can say Xander for you if you
Certainly
need.
less syllables.
Don't know
No,
who
I got
X
it now.
is, But okay, back to my question
Yeah.
was he? I know he was trying to distract her so he could go look for the idol, but do you think he thought he was looking for the idol, or did he think something may be wrong with him, that he hadn't come back in a long time?
You're talking about when they mentioned Voce, like they're going to
Yeah.
go off and find him.
Yeah, Liana went off to look, she said.
Well, they both supposedly were. Yeah. So they split up to go find him. But yeah, Xander ends up looking for an advantage. I don't know that he initially planned it that way, but when he found himself alone there, he realized it was a good time to search. And indeed, it does pay off. And Xander is one of their poster boys. Evvie and Xander and Sydney are the ones so far that are repeating those phrases that are representative of the season. And that's a great tip for anybody who ever wants to be on, is to make sure that you latch onto that theme and repeat it to help ensure you get more screen time. Because if you say, wow, this season's dangerous, or, you know, this is moving really fast.
They like those voice clips.
Yeah, they're going to lock onto that. You're going to get featured, and certainly
I hadn't really picked up on
Xander's
that.
doing an excellent job of doing that. And he's the first to find the beware advantage, the one that we had seen Tiffany walk by before.
Yep. And we saw Jeff plant it. So it does say could be good or bad, and I thought, you're going to open that thing.
I like that he took some time appeared to take some time to think about it, debate the risks.
I think he did that for the camera, because in my mind, oh no, he's opening it. There's no way he
What do
won't.
you think about this twist, the three-way? You have to activate it.
I don't like it.
Wonder triplets unite. You don't like it? Why not?
It's awkward. I mean, it adds a new element. I like that part of it, but that's just awkward. And to make him say something that just
The secret
makes
phrases. Yeah.
seem like he's flaky or something.
Yeah.
Not that I disagree with what he said, but
The most interesting thing that jumped out at me is, what is it going to be like if the other two tribes don't find theirs, for multiple cycles of the game? So they're going to show up, and he's going to have to talk about butterflies representing his ancestors.
But does he have to say it more than once? Because once somebody finds it and they read what each one has to say, they know he's already said it. Why would he have to say it again?
Why would anyone, without knowing that that's the case, commit to memory?
You would
that
remember
he had said something that goofy. I think he's going to have to show up and say it
They would remember
at the
that.
immunity challenges each time.
You know what? I think you're wrong.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll find out.
And until
we don't know.
then, because it's a beware advantage, he will no longer have a vote until the other two are found.
That's the ouchie part.
That one really had teeth right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The three-way activation is kind of interesting. I don't know what real purpose it serves in the big scheme of things, other than it makes it novel and different. But, yeah.
And he doesn't have any choice now but to lose his vote. It's like, well, too bad. You can't go, oh no, it's not worth that. You no longer have an option.
So I feel like we just don't know a whole lot about Yase, because he immediately shares all the full details
Everything.
with Evvie, and of course he's watching and who else was it? Oh, Voce.
Oche.
Yeah, so he shares the full
David.
deal with them,
And that he has an extra vote. He confirmed that.
and they talk about targeting Tiffany or Liana, and of course she's a double agent, so working against them.
Totally, because Evvie goes and immediately tells the other girls, as far as we saw. So,
She set herself up to be in the best possible position. She's just like,
oh yeah, swing vote.
this week's episode, she was the superstar. We're going to come back and talk about her some more.
Did not even, well, I'll wait. I know you'll say, no, you can't talk about that. It happened at Tribal Council. Okay, immunity challenge on day 5.
Yep, 2-day cycle.
And Xander says his phrase.
He woke up delusional and then imagined that butterflies are dead relatives saying hi.
I thought he kind of worked it in somewhat good.
Yeah, that was
Well,
good.
you took our flint and we've had no food and no fire, and I'm really feeling spent, and I really believe, and people are like, whoa, he's really out of it. So I thought he kind of covered it okay, that he's just a little out of it, and I'm sure it just excited the other tribes.
What'd you think about the challenge?
I thought it was a tough challenge.
Yeah, it was good. I like how it started off with the swimming and then diving down
They had to walk
that
across
component.
nets in the water, didn't they?
That would be the second and the third person had to do that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because the first ones just had to race for the keys.
Swim over, dive down, and get the key. I was impressed that Sydney nailed it and held her breath. Did so well. I always like to watch to see, because I've got a little bit of swimming experience, and Sydney and Xander their technique was really good. They were face down. They were, side breathing, which gives them a chance to really power on over there. Even Genie had good technique too. She was just a lot slower than they were.
She's shorter.
I don't know if she's shorter than Sydney or not. In any case, Sydney did really good. She actually got the key before Xander did. And Luvu just was there just destroying it. They're doing so well in challenges. So she did that, and Danny killed it coming across. And then Naseer did really well, too. They were just blowing through that first part with the obstacles. Yeah, he did better than I thought he would, actually. I was surprised at how well he did. And then Deshawn and Erika started on the puzzle. It was great. So they're a good puzzle team.
Poor Tiffany. She just...
She really had a hard time, didn't she? And you can see that physically, she honestly has no business being out there.
Yeah, she just did not have anything left in the tank.
Well, the big thing was you could see her give herself a super wedgie when she went across that balance beam where she was sitting down on it, and Brad blew by her. Brad's got upper body strength for days, so he could lift himself up and kind of hop forward and, reach out with those long arms, hop forward to get over it. She doesn't have that kind of strength. Not for the mass that she's working with, for sure. Yeah,
most women's arms aren't as strong.
You could see that happen. Her arms blew out, and then that's why she gave up so many times.
At least mine aren't. But yeah, I'm really impressed with her that she eventually got across.
Yeah. So
hey, at least she didn't give up.
I tell you right now, Abraham would have blown across that. He wouldn't have had that kind of trouble. He has the upper body strength. He could have done that. Yeah, he would have been tired like everybody else.
Yeah, well.
But he wouldn't have been the dead weight that Tiffany was.
He's history. Where's your point?
They made a mistake. Let's just see how it works out in the scheme of things, though.
Yeah. Not for Tiffany.
Well, Tiffany finally got through, and then Liana did really well coming through there.
She blew right through there.
Yeah.
Made up some time. They at least got an opportunity.
To work the puzzle.
David got to...
Boche and Evvie didn't really make enough progress on the puzzle. They were so far behind. By that time, Ua and Luvu were just too far ahead. Although I thought Ua was going to lose it. It looked like Ricard and JD did a complete do-over, like started again from scratch. And I was really, we both had Ricard going, so we were really cheering for a comeback from Yase.
But you were yelling.
Yeah, I was. That was not to happen. I was trying to...
Poor Zed.
They can't do physical challenges, and they definitely can't do puzzles. So, you really need to get Evvie out of the puzzles. Maybe that's something Tiffany could do.
I think they were doing okay.
Doing better than with the last one.
But they just were too far behind, I think.
Yeah.
And David seemed to be putting pieces together, so... Anyway, that's how it worked out.
It wasn't enough, yeah.
What was interesting was yesterday I was completely convinced green was losing. This morning I woke up and went, yellow's losing today. I just know yellow's losing.
Yet you didn't act on it.
And I said, I am not changing anything. Just stick with it. Don't even go in and look at it. So I did.
So it wasn't even convincing enough for you to change your mind. You didn't even really give it any time.
I was pretty certain. I said that to myself. But I thought, no, I'm not changing anything. Just forget about it. So I forgot about it and went on. And until tonight. And then I sweated through the whole episode.
Yeah.
Okay, moving along.
Yep.
Luvu wins again.
Yeah, and this is one where there's two winners, only one loser going to tribal council.
And at least Ua got their flint back. So that was nice.
Yeah, and they got a small set of fishing gear, and Luvu has a very large set, so be interesting to see what Naseer can do with that.
Alrighty.
They might start eating really well there on the Blue Tribe.
Well, that would be good. I don't like seeing people not get to eat and get that week.
Well, Tiffany's a bit of a drama queen.
I don't think so where that's concerned. They all looked, even Xander looked pretty spent and
Xander turned the turbos on and just blew through.
Yes, well, he's a lot
the
younger.
challenge. Yeah, exactly. Well, he's in really good
He can
shape
do
too.
that. So, okay, Yasa, or whatever Jeff says, loses, and then Blue gets to choose someone to go out on the boat with someone.
Two people.
Two people.
Yeah.
From Blue.
Luvu gets to choose two people to do a task. It turns out it's just the task that Danny and JD and Xander did before, but they're not 100% clear on that.
So they could have chosen somebody from the Green and Yellow tribe, and Deshawn only went because he wanted to?
Yes. Probst gave them that choice for the second person to go, that it could actually be one of them. The first choice had to come from Ua or Yase, and they chose Evvie from Yase.
But they don't know what the advantage was out there. They did. That's
Danny
right.
did a really
forgot
good job of
Danny.
explaining it to them.
I was thinking they didn't lose, so nobody went, but I forgot Danny went. Okay. Alrighty. So maybe Deshawn was looking for him an advantage. Okay.
So we're back at the Yase camp there, and Tiffany is making excuses.
Well, she says the loss is a little bit on her.
A little bit.
And she said, but she knows that she's okay because Evvie and Liana have her back.
Yep, she's sitting pretty. Doesn't matter that she screwed up the challenge.
Then you've got Voce and Xander, and they both want Tiffany gone. They're angry at her, and she's a liability, and they have to get rid of her to have any chance of winning. Well, I would imagine they're used to winning whatever they do, and so it is embarrassing for them to continue to be on the losing tribe. So Voce even talks to Liana and says, we can't keep Tiffany. And Liana said she's very open. She played
After
it
that
beautifully.
performance, really need to do something different.
Yeah, I wasn't sure she didn't actually mean it until, she told us that she didn't.
Right. That she's sticking with the girls.
I was like, oh, she played that beautifully for them.
Yeah,
So
Evvie and Liana did really well this week.
Because I was curious about, I know Xander couldn't vote, but does that also include his extra vote? I'm assuming it does, but you brought up the fact that, well, maybe he could have given that extra vote to Voce to play for them.
If he had any reason to believe or to
that's
suspect.
Where the women succeeded.
That's where Liana and Evvie did such a fantastic job.
Even I didn't know what they were going to do. I was like, oh my goodness, what are they going to... Well, I was really sweating because wonderful choices that I made, had both Tiffany and Xander safe this week.
Yeah.
So I was really
There's
sweating.
definitely some tension in watching this episode.
Oh my goodness, I'm losing a point. No matter what, I'm losing a point.
All right, let's cut to Deshawn and Evvie as they go on their adventure and they do their climb and get to know each other. And Evvie's looking for allies. So's Deshawn.
She's playing a very good game. I'm impressed more and more each week with her.
Yeah.
It could catch her out, in the end, but I'm liking what she's doing.
Yep, so they do the trek up the mountain and they get to know each other a little bit and plan to help each other out. And she's got a plan for how to manage all this because Xander told them how it worked too. And she said she can't afford to risk her vote. She has to protect it, so she'll have her vote given that they're going to tribal council. But she's got a plan for Deshawn so that he can get an extra vote.
And that totally works for him.
And we get some Deshawn backstory during this too, where he talks about the 3Ds: discipline, determination, dedication gets you to the win. I think Evvie is getting you to the win. he left out the big E there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's quite a stretch at this point in the game, babe.
What?
That Evvie's getting him to the win.
Well, she's right now. She is. She's got all this figured out, and she's got him covered. She
stretch
tells him that Xander's got the extra vote in their tribe, and she tells him how the idol works.
Definitely, she gave him
and that he needs to be looking for that idol.
Yep. That's.
He didn't seem to offer anything in return.
Well, that they showed us. But,
I don't know that he has a lot to offer.
Well, yeah. It's like, well, nobody's found anything at our tribe that I know of.
They're not having to play the game as hard as the other two tribes, and definitely
winning.
not as hard as Yase.
She even tells him she's planning to vote X out, so I'm sure he'll be surprised when he gets there and Xander's still there.
Right.
So plans change.
Okay, Evvie's back at Yase there. It's still day 5, just before they have to go to tribal council. And gathers up the girls, and they go to the water, make sure that they've got their plan set, and it's clear we're going to blindside Xander.
And then she goes to the guys, and same thing. Yep, okay.
It's clear we're going to take out Tiffany.
And take out Tiffany.
She's got maximum options.
Here's where I began to have a little hope. When Tiffany gets all paranoid, but what if he's got the idol? What if it isn't? What if?
I like that there was a little...
I want to go after Voce, and I'm like, yes, Tiffany.
That was the relief you were looking for.
Oh, big time.
She even owns it and says, I hope I'm not the dumb survivor player. But she was coming off as kind of the dumb survivor player. And so...
Hey, I'm loving her right now.
She did right by you, for sure.
She did right by me this week. Yep. Saved me a point.
And it didn't matter how well, how clearly, how calmly Liana or Evvie explained it to her.
Yeah.
She couldn't get her mind past, but what if Xander has an idol? Even though Evvie had told her all the details, having seen the paper with all the full explanation of the details.
Yeah.
She couldn't get her mind past that.
Okay, here's where it gets sticky. So as happy as I was about all that for her presenting this other scenario to vote out Voce, I really think that that's a mistake to leave Xander with all of his opportunities for an idol on the table. They left him there.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Evvie's certain that he doesn't have it. Tiffany wasn't, but Evvie was.
Yeah.
And she read everything. She's up to date on all the information. And I kind of think it's a mistake that they left it there, because he could be so much more powerful. He may not be easy to get out next time.
They'll know when he has it too.
Yeah.
So they'll know when the power, when it powers up, rather, when the other two phrases are mentioned.
Well, they will. And sit with that and an extra vote. Hello. So.
Did you catch that little, I don't know if you were scribbling away furiously, but Probst gave us a little moment there where he said, we're coming into tribal council, and it's the classic decision, strength or loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't do anything for me either. It's like, thanks, yeah, I kind of knew that.
Well, I really, though, going back to the pre-tribal council strategy, I really kind of thought they might be going to vote Tiffany out. After Liana and Evvie talked about it and said,
yeah, I always wonder if they asked them to have a little extra conversation or something just to throw that doubt in right before we go.
Well, it seemed sincere to me, and the way Tiffany was acting, that would have entered my mind. But I think it's important, at least to Evvie, I think the all-woman alliance is also important to her.
Mm-hmm.
And usually that doesn't exist throughout the game. And so I think she's wanting to make that different. So...
yeah, the mere fact that it's held together right now, in the midst of Tiffany not being able to understand the basics of what's been explained to her,
And that she
repeating
has,
the phrase wrong. She kept talking about purple butterflies, and so she's jumbled things up. Her mind's not working clearly, and they couldn't get through to her, and yet they're going to hold on to her.
yeah, even though they know that she was terrible in that challenge, she may not be in all of them, but we'll see.
Well, unless she can solve puzzles, which with her muddled mind the way it was on day 5, that doesn't seem like it's likely.
I think that though that one of the decisions is like Evvie said at tribal council, moving to tribal council,
Sure.
is that she said that yeah, but we could align with somebody tomorrow, and it would be your loyalties that would make the difference with a new tribe, not necessarily your strength.
Assuming you had any numbers to be loyal
Exactly.
with.
Well, that's what I mean. If they all ended up. So anyway.
And the perception of you at this point is that you don't have a lot of value. You're just on that tribe that loses all the time.
And I would assume that Xander is aware now that, honey, you on the outs.
So Probst tries a real softball setup with Tiffany there as her first question, asking her if she feels vulnerable so that she can talk about the struggle on zero food and...
Zero food or sleep.
Yeah.
We can't perform. It's like somebody needs to find some food, y'all.
And Xander did his good part there of enforcing the themes. And yes, he has absolutely been humbled. Have you been humbled? Probst asked. Yes, that is the right answer. Yes, I've been humbled by this process. I have no idea what I'm doing, he says. Mm-hmm. Little did he know how little he actually knew, huh?
Well, in Voce, I'm 100% certain that he believed Tiffany was going, and so he's talking about, in surgery, if you make an error, you have to review your error.
You have to do the
so
postmortem.
So it doesn't happen again.
Yep.
So, in other words, if we get rid of Tiffany, that won't happen again. So, Liana tells us that everybody's version is different.
Yeah, it can be different, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're all true.
Well, that's
a
true,
critical part that people leave out with that type of an explanation. Just because you think it doesn't mean that's the reality.
Yeah, and that's when Tiffany's still pushing. She's not giving up. She's like, Survivor's not just about strength, it's about challenges. Not just about challenges, it's about social game, too.
Yep, she's banking on those bonds, which, what else does she have?
Nothing.
Yeah.
So, I really thought Xander was going when he gave the
title.
Yep, he said juggling.
Yeah,
chainsaws.
I didn't understand that. Why you jumped on that so hard?
He's going. They gave him that
as a gift.
They gave him that as a gift on his way out. Well, that's what I was thinking. But I was very happy it didn't work out that way.
And Tiffany still wasn't believing that he didn't have an idol he was going to play. She was eyeballing him severely when Probst came back with the votes and asked if anyone had an idol or an advantage they wanted to play.
And Xander had pointed out a couple times during the episode that we don't know if there's going to be any swaps at all. This may be our tribe.
Yep.
Throughout. I don't know that we're going to swap. So everything's different this season. We don't know. But it's time to vote, which, of course, Xander goes through the motions because they assume not everyone knows he doesn't have a vote, but they do. But he goes anyway. They tell him he doesn't have a vote. Go back to your seat. And which I even made a note. Now, Xander has no vote. There's only going to be 4 votes. And then we get the 1 vote for Tiffany and 3 for Voce. And we're like, but who did Xander vote for? But who did Xander vote for? And it took us we were back looking
Tiffany.
for it. Why aren't they showing Xander until you went, duh. And I went, oh my gosh. I even wrote it down right here. Mm-hmm. And forgot.
So Voce's out. It looked like a blindside. Looked like they got him good. Now,
yay, I'm so happy.
What do you think?
Bye-bye, David Voce.
Yeah, you and the name changing.
Yes.
That was a strike against you out of the gate. Well, what do you think's going to happen with this tribe? It's not like the physical components of the challenges are going to go away, and they've got one more buffer in Xander that might make it until, if they throw him away, which he, like you said, he should be thinking, well, they just voted Voce out, and nobody ever told me, at least as far as we know, that it was going to potentially go that way.
I don't think
So
they could tell him.
he's going to be realizing that he's out of the loop and that he shared everything he's got with people who've been deceiving him now for 5 straight days.
Yep, that's what should be concerning him the most.
Yeah.
I just told him everything.
And he's almost guaranteed to lose because Tiffany's still there and she's going to wreck the next physical component. And she has to participate.
He's like, I've never even lied to them. Blah, blah. And I thought, that's what they were counting on. They pegged you. That's why they sent you out to the island. And the first challenge was Tiffany said he's the least likely to lie about it. That's why you were picked to go.
Big part of it. For sure. They read him right.
Somehow that doesn't seem fair. This reminds me of fans versus favorites when, the women just overtook Eric.
Talked him right out of an idol.
Of an idol, yeah. It's like, oh, goodness.
Well, he's
young.
He's on track. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, well, hopefully they can pull together and...
Yeah, so the next immunity challenge is going to be just 4 of them.
Yep, and so they're going to... The other...
We'll have to set 1 out, and Luvu will have to set
2 people
2 out. Mm-hmm. Wasn't surprised to see Heather set out. That was a good call for that.
Yeah, for that challenge for sure. And I think you made a good pick. I wasn't sure Erika would make it, but with her ability to do the puzzles.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I had no clue she would be that good at that.
She's definitely carrying her weight.
Yep. Absolutely. Doing fantastic.
Sydney's been awesome in the challenges. Yeah. She's very physical. And, of course, Deshawn and Danny are.
Don't count that paddling, the rowing thing against her when she was fake rowing in the very first challenge.
Yeah.
But they sorted that out. It was bigger that they stayed clipped to the anchor the whole time, I guess, than her fake paddling.
Yeah. Well, I still have to believe they talk about getting rid of Naseer, but... and they could afford to if they keep winning. But truthfully, Heather's the weakest. Mm-hmm. Or apparently so. Because he did pretty good. Like I said, that did surprise me. That.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who they set out. You think it'll be Heather and Sydney? Because you're not going to want, if there's a puzzle, you're going to want Erika and Deshawn there, right?
Well, they're not having reward challenges yet, separately,
right.
Reward and immunity.
So combos,
so I
they've
think
been doing that early on.
they can set them out,
sure.
back to back if there's no reward challenge.
Yep.
If it's not within an episode. So I would suspect they would sit her out. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. They're winning this way. I guess it depends on the challenge.
Yeah.
Maybe she has puzzle skills,
In any case, I expect Yase to lose again.
Well, I won't be surprised, let's put it that way.
Okay, next time on Survivor, Brad and Shantel there, seem awfully happy about something.
Yeah, they were really excited.
Doing the jumping, tippy-tappy, hopping dance.
And Brad said, in all the twists and turns and danger.
He's loving it,
whatever
which was
that
great. That he's just embracing the theme of the season, essentially, the unwritten theme, the dangerous monster. Liana's upset. She's missed something.
Yeah, she said, I was right there, and I wasn't paying attention. You think she...
Could have been $1 million mistake.
Missed finding an idol or something, or...
Something that was said, more than likely. Now she's afraid to have it repeated.
Well, but would that be her $1 million mistake? That's what she said. Could this be my $1 million mistake?
Yeah, making you think that it could be the reason she gets voted out.
Well...
Right, it could be in regards to a challenge that she didn't perform well at.
Or maybe she's just paranoid. We'll find out next week. And JD says
he's worried Ricard's already
found the idol. Yeah.
It's frustrating for him.
Very frustrated. He hasn't found it. And Sydney tells us this is a very dangerous season of Survivor.
Yeah, so they just give her a tagline for no particular reason, because she said the thing that they want to hear is there's a dangerous monster. That's what season 41 is.
Then give her credit for knowing what to say.
Yes.
To get some airtime.
Absolutely. And she seems the type that would potentially be aware and be listening to the questions and how the producers frame those questions that they ask them when they do those one-on-ones. You can probably infer a lot from how they set you up with things.
Well, they usually continue with these puzzles at the end in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think...
Because you want that opportunity for a big come-from-behind win. Yeah, it's exciting.
That's why I think Yase's in
trouble.
Because...
Tiffany will make sure that the physical part... They have to put her on the puzzle. That's the only right answer, is put her on the puzzle.
I would think so.
So that she doesn't have to do the physical. Then Evvie and Liana and Xander can handle the physical piece.
Well, I don't know how physical Evvie is even. She's always done the puzzle.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she wants to do the puzzle.
Yeah.
Is that she doesn't think she's very physical in the challenges. So, I don't know. I think something will shine on that next week.
So, there's some advantage in play, it looked like, too, in the next time on Survivor. Because they're rolling up to a beach at night, and then there's a shack hut there that's lit with torches, and there's a fire out front, and it looked kind of like it was there was a big mast from a ship or something sitting there in the sand. So, and a boat comes rolling up. So I'm wondering if somebody gets to go there to get something, or to spend a night to get some respite from the conditions, or that might be some aspect of a reward.
Yeah, I thought maybe reward, but they said they weren't going to get a lot of food rewards or anything, but...
Yeah, and they haven't gotten anything yet.
I guess we won't know till next week.
Yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so. I'm loving the season. I'm enjoying the episodes, except this one was extra tense.
Made you anxious, yeah.
Tense for me.
Yeah. How about a JSFL update?
I can do that. Okay, we have 7 people tied in first place.
Wow. Okay.
That's narrowed down pretty quickly there.
Yeah.
There were, congratulations, 42 people gained a vote-off point for a David Voce.
So that little rascal changed his name. I'm going to select him to be voted out.
Yeah, go home. 84 people lost a safe point, and 4 people lost their USB. In the side challenge, Jeremiah's in first with 9 points. With 8 points, we have Cold Mike, Michael from Utah, Rebecca, and Stacy. With 7 points, we have Jay Kindred and Justin. 6 points, we have Parker and Seattle Randy. And with 3 points, we have Drew.
Which, A, means he got his picks in this week.
He did.
Good job, Drew. And B, means that he must have had Voce safe.
I guess so. I can't say anything.
Yeah. You squeaked by.
Yeah.
And you won't be taking any input.
See what happens when I take risks.
Yes. Good deal. Well, we enjoyed it, and we look forward to hearing what you thought about it. Hey, I want to play a little clip. I like to request listener feedback, and I want to share this with you. This was a call that we got from Shay before the episode aired last week, and I wanted just to share this with everyone from that perspective of being a part of the show and what it means to you.
Hi, Joanne. Hi, Stacy. This is Shay. The show hasn't even started yet, but it does in 26 minutes. And I only know this because your podcast popped up on my phone. COVID has had my life pretty crazy. It's been a little hard on the people I love, but everybody's good. And I just didn't even know Survivor was coming back on until I saw you guys on my phone. And I just wanted to tell you that I've listened to everything. It is so good to hear all my favorite people, starting out with Pete, ending with Paul, and it coming back on is like the best thing that's happened to my life, and I don't know how long. And at this point, now it's 25 minutes away, and I can't wait to call tomorrow and tell y'all what I thought, because you know what I think is so important. Anyway, it was so good to hear everybody. I love you guys, and I just am so excited about the show that's coming on in probably almost 24 minutes now. I could cry. I won't, but I could. Okay, talk to you and hear you soon. Woo!
Woohoo! All right, Shay. I love that. And I just wanted to share it with everyone and to remind folks that being a part of the show is that easy. You can call in, you can record your own audio, write it up and send it to us, and we'll make you a part of the listener feedback show. And that grows to mean something to people over time. Mm-hmm. And they draw a lot of comfort from being able to go back even to the old seasons. We heard people like David in Pittsburgh talking about going back and watching and listening to everyone, and the fact that he didn't miss us at all. He was listening to all of us all during the pandemic. And so we would like to invite you to come be a part of the listener feedback show to share your thoughts and your predictions based on what we've seen here in these first 2 episodes, how you see it playing out from here. And if you'd like to be a part of that, the voicemail line is 206-350-1547, toll free, 844-643-8737. You can record it yourself and then attach it and send it in an email. And you can send it to us at joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. And remember, the feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturdays. And if you're having trouble with your time zones, Google is your friend.
True.
You can say, Google, what time is it in California right now? You can get a sense of that.
That's right.
That's where we are. That's where we're going to be putting it together. We look forward to hearing from you. We had 29 last week. Yeah, last week. And we're looking forward to hearing from all of you. And because we've got big crowds taking part, we'd also like to ask you to try to keep it in that 3-minute range too, as best you can. And I'll help you if you're struggling. Anything else you want to add?
Nope. Just looking forward to hearing what everybody else thought.
Yeah. Maybe something we missed too. We're going to have to go back and watch again.
Miss?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, of course we always do.
Okay. Have a good one.